The original Independence Day is one of my favorite movies. I do recognize that it has some problems, but as a summer popcorn blockbuster, it's amazing.
Welcome to Earth.
It's fun and inspirational, and I enjoy the hell out of it. So now, pretty much exactly 20 years later, Independence Day Resurgence has arrived. I was obviously really hyped for this movie when it was announced, but then the trailers came out and they didn't look that great to me. So I went into this hoping, as far as weird quasi-sequel reboots go, this would be more Jurassic World and less Terminator Genesis. So let's talk about it.
What goes up must come down.
So I was really curious going into this. Some people said it was a fun time.
So all in all, out of my 2 ratings, best movie ever or worst movie ever, this gets a best.
And some people said it was totally awful.
I'm gonna go 0.5 out of 5 schmoes. It sucks. My worst movie of the year so far. You blew it.
And so, which side did I land on? Well, I'm sorry to say, but I'm in the it's awful camp. I went into this really wanting to like it, but I came out of this really disappointed. However, let's start off with what I liked. Some of the cast was pretty good in this. I especially enjoyed Liam Hemsworth as Jake and Jesse Usher as Will Smith Light. Some of the CGI looks pretty neat. Some action is kind of fun for a little bit. Also, this movie did some new stuff with this universe, especially towards the end. And while some of it I wasn't the biggest fan of, some of it was actually pretty interesting. And that's what I liked. Now let's talk about the rest of this mess. And that's really the first problem. This film is a mess. The plot is all over the place, and it's filled with so many weird holes and conveniences. This film is also terribly paced, and oddly enough, I found it actually quite boring. Like, this kind of movie can be stupid and dumb and make no sense sometimes, but if there's one thing it shouldn't be, it's boring. But lo and behold, there are large chunks of this movie where, to me, nothing interesting happened. And I think that might be because this movie has so many different subplots that it keeps cutting to, some of which are totally irrelevant and really have no impact on the overall story. As far as most of the cast goes, most of the performances range from phoned in to just kinda bad. Even Jeff Goldblum, who I love in everything. It feels like they just got Jeff Goldblum on his lunch break and asked him if he could just stand on a green screen and say a few lines. He doesn't feel like the character from the first movie. Again, it just feels kind of phoned in. Although, I'm not gonna put this all on the actors, because the writing and dialogue in this movie is also really bad. And while humor is very subjective, the humor in this movie felt a lot more like the Michael Bay Transformers kind of humor, which isn't exactly my thing. The movie's editing is also really bad. Like, I know there are a lot of jokes out there about the editing in Batman v Superman, but this is worse. There's so many little continuity errors between shots, like where a character will be looking one way in one shot and then a totally other way in the next. It's ridiculous. I thought Jeff Goldblum could teleport at one point. As far as the action goes, while some is fun for a little bit, it's just fun because stuff is finally happening. It's just lasers and things blowing up. I didn't have any emotional connection to it. It was just stuff happening. And while some of the CGI looks pretty great here, quite a bit of the green screen stuff does not. There were a few times where I could clearly tell that it was just an actor standing on a green screen. But all that said, even if the movie makes no sense, even if the performances aren't great, even if the editing, directing, and most of the action is bad, is the movie at least fun? And for me at least, not really. I'm sure some people will find a lot of fun in this, but to me, this just felt bland and lifeless. It didn't have any of the fun of the original. There are a lot of parts in this that are clearly mimicking things that happened in the first film, but it just comes off like they're recycling plot points. Look, I'm gonna keep this review short. If you like this movie, great. As long as you're having fun with a movie, good for you. Hell, I saw this with my dad, and he really enjoyed it. But I personally just think this movie is a giant, bloated, and uninteresting mess. And as someone who's a really big fan of the first film, this was really disappointing. I'm gonna give Independence Day Resurgence a 3.5 out of 10. Also, completely unrelated, I have a quick update about me personally here, so if you care about that, stick around. Currently, as it is summer vacation, I'm traveling, so my video schedule might be a bit screwed up. I'm gonna try to have a new video out each week, but if I don't be surprised. There are probably gonna be a lot of reviews coming up. Also, random thing, but I just want to clear something up here. In my Q&A video, I said I live in Denmark and that I'm part Danish, but I guess I didn't explain it well enough, so I'd just like to clarify, I'm part Danish and I'm part American. A lot of people were commenting on that video, saying stuff like, you sound pretty American for someone from Denmark, and that's because I'm as American as I am Danish. I've lived in America, it's a whole thing. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up. So those were my thoughts on Independence Day Resurgence. What did you think of it? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram at BHL_Hudson, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.